Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian Pargo. Everyone in between, thank you for being here. I appreciate everyone who just hears what I have to say. Because if you're living in a toxic, narcissistic relationship, maybe the person, your parents, maybe your spouse, maybe it's a brother and sister, maybe they have a personality disorder and you guys are always fighting over boundaries. Well, those boundaries get pushed. When the narcissistic, toxic person realizes they push their boundaries, they will ask for forgiveness in places it doesn't belong. And they will ask you for forgiveness without ever saying what they did to hear you say, I forgive you. They will tell you something happened to them that's beyond their control and they're sorry. Please forgive me. Every one of you who's ever been a child, you catch that? I kind of tricked everybody. In any case, any one of you who has ever been an abused child, whether that was a physical abuse you experienced, whether it was mental and emotional abuse you experienced, some form of neglect, I can tell you the hardest part about being a child is trying to get forgiveness from your parent. If your parent just so happened to be narcissistic, toxic, borderline personality, you may have had you may have never had an apology, a proper apology from that parent. So if you spent a youth and a lifetime in your youth facing any form of abuse and really not getting validation from your parents, you seek validation in places it doesn't exist. That's why people turn to drugs. That's why some toxic, narcissistic people often turn to drugs and alcohol to hide the shame and the feeling that what they did can never be forgiven. So, if you're in a personal relationship with a narcissist and they've harmed you in some way, let's say they've abused you mentally, let's say they denied reality in just an erroneous way. I mean, something that's just not based in reality. They yell at you and they're screaming at you. You never let me finish a sentence. We all know that's not true. We all know that they finish sentences. And when you're broken and you're crying and you're fighting about everything else and you stare them in the eye and you get really close and you say, please tell the truth. Have you finished a sentence during this entire day? Have you finished one sentence today? Please, for the love of God, my heart is broken. My mind has snapped. I'm crying. I want to laugh at the ridiculous of the statements. Please speak the truth. Have you finished one sentence? In their mind, what they are replaying, that narcissistic, toxic person is replaying what they said. And they told you that they never got to finish a sentence. So when they answer you and you're begging, please tell the truth, please, for the love of God, answer truthfully. Have you finished a sentence? They're not listening. All they hear in their head is their own words. I told him I never finished a sentence. When they open their eyes and they finally look at you because they're looking this way or they're looking up and their head shaking because like, have I finished a sentence? I don't know. Have I? And they look at you and they say literally, no. And they break your world and they break your reality. So the next day when you call for a grocery list and they look at the phone and they feel pain and they're like, oh my God, I hurt him. I can't face what I did. I should apologize, shouldn't I? And then they pick up the phone and they say hello. And you're like, hey, I'm headed to the city and I have a grocery list. And before you get to keep going, they say, I am so sorry. Wasn't ignoring you. I didn't hear my phone. And suddenly, you have to soothe their feelings and tell them, it's okay. You have nothing to apologize for. If the fight last night denied reality and they couldn't apologize last night, when they call you on the phone and they apologize for nothing, they're apologizing for something they actually claim was out of their control. They say, I'm sorry I didn't hear my phone. If they're apologizing for something that was out of their control, they don't need to apologize. Therefore, there's nothing to forgive. If you can say, it's okay, you didn't do anything, in their mind, they're still feeling the pain and the hurt that happened yesterday. They just won't admit it. All they know is they feel they're ignoring you because they did. 2 days ago. And they feel that they're ignoring you and it rang 5 times. So they're going to apologize for not ignoring you. As you're asking for a grocery list, they're begging you for forgiveness for what you did and what happened to you. And they're begging forgiveness when you got upset for them ignoring you. They're begging for forgiveness for ignoring you and telling you they didn't hear their phone. They didn't ignore you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Please, check it out. If you have kids and you co-parent with a person with narcissistic personality disorder, and you're going somewhere, and you call to ask what you should pick up, they might be on the other end of the phone and they see you calling and they look and they go, ugh, it's you calling. I don't want to talk to him, but I'm going to answer the phone.
Hello?
Hey, as
Hey,
long as I'm
sorry.
What?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear my phone, so.
So they pick up, they say hello. The first thing they think is they didn't want to talk to you, and you know they didn't want to talk to you. So they're going to defend themselves immediately. In fact, they might defend themselves so strongly, they might lie to you. They might pick up the phone and say, hello, I didn't hear my phone, in order to defend the feelings inside that probably they were ignoring you. And that's why they told you they didn't hear it. If they didn't hear the phone, why did they pick up the phone? If they didn't hear the phone ring, why did they say hello? If you call, it rings 5 times and they pick up, they say, oh, sorry, I didn't hear my phone. How did they say hello if they didn't hear their phone? It's not possible. They're gaslighting you to forgive them for something they think you know. Sorry, I didn't hear my phone. They're lying. Listen, rings 5 times. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear my phone. But you picked up. Are you saying it took so long because you didn't hear it? Or are you saying you didn't hear your phone? The truth is, the words "I didn't hear my phone," if you didn't hear it, if that actually happened, you wouldn't have picked up your phone. It would have gone to voicemail, or you would have hung up already, and then they call back and say, sorry, I didn't hear my phone, I missed it. That makes sense. You pick up the phone and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it ringing. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it ringing. They answered the phone. It has to be a lie. It has to be a gaslight. They don't even know they're saying it. What a narcissist does know is they feel defensive. And they will lie to you and tell you every reason why you shouldn't feel whatever they think you feel. Did you ignore me a couple days ago?
Nope.
There it is.
Nope, that's the truth.
There it is. So if your back was turned to me and you didn't respond.
Within seconds? No.
Seconds. I like how you put a time limit on it
You've
now.
counted a couple of times.
I've had to.
You harangued me and harassed
I've
me
had
and tried
to.
force me to answer you.
Force you to answer?
After we've discussed
Force
and
you?
agreed that if I say any a few
Force
minutes,
you
yeah,
to answer.
pushed and
I
pushed
force you to speak.
And harangued and badgered. Yes.
So trying to have a conversation with a spouse. Having a conversation with a spouse with a personality disorder can be like talking to a brick wall. And everything you say just comes back to you. And the blame shift begins and it never ends. So get out while you can. The moment you start forgiving a toxic, narcissistic person for the things they didn't do, and you forgive them when they didn't say that, they can get you to forgive them for anything. This is Brian Pargo. Have yourself a fantastic day. Heal out loud. Bless somebody. Over and out.